Hey guys, good morning. Welcome back. Hope everybody is doing well. Wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about a certain topic because a lot of you guys, this doesn't have anything in relation to cases or true crime or anything like that. But there is a lot of supporters, including myself, who highly support a person that I'm going to speak about here shortly. Again, this isn't about, true crime or anything like that. But the reason why I'm touching base on this and want to talk about this is because eh, people do not get like the bigger picture behind something. You get a lot of people who they say, "Oh, I like a person, I'm a fan, I support, yada yada yada." Okay, but what people don't stop and like, think about, hey, Grammy, how are you there? What people don't stop and think about, you guys, is when a person reacts or when a person talks about something, it's for a reason. And instead of people thinking about what the purpose is, they just kind of jump, right? So a lot of you guys have seen a lot of this stuff taking place with Ryan. And I've told you guys I don't really get into the whole, music aspect of things and stuff, but I'm going to tell you guys this. I think that what it boils down to is he is super loyal, super smart. Okay. He has a huge following. And I think that he drops hints to people way in advance. Okay. And I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about that. This is something that, I feel has been brewing for quite some time with some individuals. Whenever you go back to what Ryan said, I believe it may have been 4 to 6 months ago. He made a very powerful statement. I believe it may have been on Instagram on one of his stories. And I always say that, if you really listen to a person that you support, there are clues. Okay. There are things that stand out. And I'm going to share with you guys what really stood out, in my opinion, was the time that Ryan had shared with everybody. He had said that he think of everybody who's been to my house, the conversations, what people have said, and then he followed it by something on the lines of, and think of what you could have said. Okay. I don't know if those were the exact words, but it was something very close to that. Now, that really stuck with me, and I thought to myself, I'm like, why would he say that? Okay? There's a reason. And if you guys pay attention, all these loyal supporters out there who are barking at him and saying, "Oh, hey, I like this person, I like that person. Why are you throwing everybody under the bus?" If people would actually listen to what he is saying, he's pretty much explaining his reason. Okay. And the reason why I'm saying this is because there's so many people who follow and everything that, I don't think that they listen. And there's a difference. You can follow somebody and like a person, but that should come with actually listening and paying attention to a person as well. Okay. Because listen, I'm not even into the whole music aspect of shit, but I'm smart enough to where I can sit back and I can see the puzzle. Okay. I can see the missing pieces. I can see the story unraveling. Okay. Without even knowing the characters or anything. In my gut feeling, you guys, I feel that this man, he has been loyal to people. He has opened up to people. He has talked to people. And one thing that we can all comfortably say is that shit gets back to him. Okay. Shit gets back to him no matter what it is. And I think that there were people who potentially took advantage or used him, or it's a simple fact that he's not down with how some people are. Okay. Because you guys got to stop and realize this is not a man who needs any of these people in his circle. Okay. In fact, I think and believe that it's the other way around, that a lot of people, they needed him in their circle. okay, to advance. And what I mean by that is when you look at the numbers, you look at the growth, the love, the support that Ryan has versus so many other people. Now, people may challenge that and say, no, no, that doesn't matter. It absolutely does matter. Okay. But I remember looking back when Ryan had shared a video of some individuals, coming by and kicking it at his house and stuff. That was also at a very questionable time, in my opinion, with some people. And I was kind of surprised. I was like, I wonder what that person's doing there. But I'm telling you guys, this cat is smart. He's very, very, very smart. Okay. He knows how to play the game. He knows how to read people and his intuition. So here's where I'm going with this. So this morning, when I see that he shared Simba's video, Simba's reaction to one of Adam's songs, um, here I am. I can look at that and I can see that, okay, that clearly was not Ryan who did the video. Okay. Ryan simply shared a video that somebody else did. And then you get people who are leaving comments saying, oh, why are you throwing all these rappers under the bus and stuff like this? No, it's not him throwing people under the bus. Okay. He has given people the clues for a very long time. And I really strongly feel and believe that a lot of these people that, you know, he has beef with, they've had plenty of time to kind of make things right, you know? And I can honestly tell you guys this. Ryan seems like a very humble and laid back dude to where, if there's a misunderstanding or, something's not right, I strongly feel and believe that if people came to him and try to make things right or, do right, he appears to be a forgiving person and an understanding person. Okay. But people are looking at this as, and he is trying to do a tit for tat, you know, bullshit thing. I don't think that's what it is, you guys. Okay. Because something else that Ryan has spoken up and said months back was what he is doing for his career. It's not to get fans. It's not to get, money or to be number one. Okay. If there is anything that any of you guys know about him is he loves his true supporters. Okay. The people who have helped mold him to where he is currently today. And I honestly believe that that comes with protection as well. I think that this man could have shared a lot about individuals and, told us a lot of things about people. And he chooses to not do that. In fact, he sits back and he watches and he observes people. Okay. So if he's sharing a video that somebody else made, pointing something out, that's not him throwing somebody under the bus. That is literally him sharing a video and pretty much saying like, hey, whoa, that's fucked up. Because here's the thing. What and this is what's puzzling to me whenever I read comments and I see people talking on these videos and stuff, about, you know, how he is as a person. And these are people who supposedly support him. It's like, well, it's kind of shocking because if you guys think about it, if you guys look back and you think about how many people have tried to throw him under the bus and how many people who have talked shit about him, but people don't think about that, okay? Because they're not under the big microscope being looked at 24/7, okay? Why? In my opinion, because they're not up to that level. And a lot of people, they don't understand this when I say this. A lot of people say, why do you support him so much? Why do you have these rants? And, go to bat. You're nobody to him. Well, let me tell you guys something. I'm certainly not a dumbass. Okay. I sit back and I really pay close attention. This is, in my opinion, not a person who's running around trying to throw digs at people for no reason, not trying to throw people under the bus. This is a person who has worked their ass off to get to where they are and to stand for something. But most importantly, the real people who follow him know what he says. He plans to be, I mean, he's already a legend, but he's planning to, when he leaves this earth, he's leaving behind something. He's leaving behind a name. Okay. I mean, I remember whenever I was watching one of the videos and he was showing the badass old truck. And he said, yep, he goes, that one will go in the museum or something on the lines of that. And it really made me stop and think. It's like, man, this guy, he has a plan. He doesn't have just a here and now plan like many of these guys do. He is thinking about his name and his supporters, his fans, his music, what he's worked so hard for the future. Okay. A lot of these people aren't doing that, you guys. They're not. And you know what? You know how many times people have sat there and they have questioned, like what he's doing, oh, what's he doing? Blah, 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 blah. And do you guys hear him really saying that about a lot of people that he thought were loyal to him and people that he's, possibly trusted and helped out? I'm smart enough to know that he would not have a strong opinion or a disliking for a person without a reason. Okay. And a lot of people, they may think that, oh, who cares if someone talks shit about somebody? Get over it, yada, yada, yada. Well, you guys got to stop and realize this cat has been burned big time. Trusting people has gotten him burned. Okay. And we won't go into depth of that. I think we all know the people who, let him down the most. So is his guard up or his walls up high? Absolutely. And you have to also stop and think in his position. If he thinks somebody is a good person or has his back, and then he finds out things about that person and realizes, oh no, that's not what I stand for. This is no good. Okay. He's not only doing that and thinking like that for just himself personally, I don't believe. I think he's thinking of the best interest of his true supporters and fans. So when you get these comments, when you guys are leaving comments on his channel on what he shares and stuff, you have to think about this. At what point in time has Ryan ever done a video or made a post to where he is directing you guys and telling you guys and demanding you guys of who you are allowed to like and not to like? Because I haven't seen one. Okay. Now I can see if he was in that direction to where he was calling somebody out and telling the supporters not to like somebody and to do this and to do that. Okay. He's not a puppet fucking master, you guys. Okay. He's simply a fucking human who sees a lot of things behind the scenes that a lot of you guys don't see. And just like you and I, he just shares something and shares an opinion. That doesn't mean he's telling you guys to go off the rail and to disown and dislike and tell you who to pick and choose. Okay. Whenever you're a leader and you're not a follower, you sometimes share things to kind of open people's eyes. Okay. It's kind of a way to just kind of show, hey, I seen this. This isn't cool. Okay. So when I read these comments and I'm like, this person really claims that they're huge supporters and They're arguing with him about going after certain people. I don't think it's called going after certain people. Okay. Because, like I said, I have for a very long time sat back and watched how this man's brain works, how he thinks. And it's very easy to do. Because if you really watch him on the daily, he shows you guys all how he thinks and how he comes up with things. And I knew whenever he had said that on that video that he shared on Instagram on his story, it was something in the wording of how many people have been to his house, what they have said. But the most important clue of that whole thing was and what they could have said. Okay. So if people think that it's just for clout and it's just to one up somebody, I don't believe that's what it is. Okay. I believe that this is a person who's strongly passionate about his career and what he has going for himself. And you know what? When you guys really honestly think about it, I say this all the time. I don't care who out there doesn't like him, believe in him. You cannot sit there and look at what he has accomplished and what he has done. And during the timing of when these things have been done and not say to yourself, that is a badass motherfucker. Okay. Because look at what took place last year. Okay. Look at all the dynamics that he went through. Just discovering and learning and losing so much. Typically, that would really just bring a person down. It would make a person just, not be able to mentally do the shit that he has done. So this is why when people leave these stupid comments, they say, oh, the Addie's kicking in, blah, 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 blah. Man, people really, you're not very bright, okay? Because somebody who is, a total waste, they can't do this stuff, okay? They cannot possibly move mountains in the way that he has. So, as a supporter, when I see, shared posts and things, I'm smart. I sit back and I think, okay, he's got an opinion. Okay. I mean, we shouldn't look at people so closely and analyze every single thing that they do and think negative about it. All right. Because I don't call that throwing somebody under the bus at all. Because whenever he gave that story, when he shared on that story about, think of all the people that have been at my house and the conversations. You know what? You think about that. I think this goes way back, way back. And like I said, there is a reason why he gets all the feedback and knows everything that people say. Why? Because people respect him. People see through the bullshit. They see what is taking place. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Don't think for a second that if Ryan had some lyrics, okay, that were, unfavorable by some, don't think for a second that some of these individuals would be not doing the same thing. In fact, they probably would not be doing it publicly, but they would definitely be doing it behind the scenes. Okay. There would be a lot of smack talking behind the scenes and doing it discreetly. But at the same time, if they had the opportunity or if they seen Ryan face to face, they would probably be two-faced and act like everything's, chummy and fine. You guys, that's how people get fucked over. That's how people get used. Okay. So I don't think that people are quite used to people who just, stand up and say, hey, fuck you. I don't need you. because there's not a lot of people out there like that who can be put in that position, especially in that industry. A lot of people, they use one another, they fake, they pretend because they need one another. That's what puts him in a different bracket. Okay. He does not need any of these people. He doesn't need any of these people's supporters. But what you guys need to stop and realize is at no point in time does he ever make any of his supporters feel like, hey, you can't like that person just because I don't. I've never seen that. Never seen that. So when I'm reading all these comments and stuff, it's like, wait a minute. Okay, are you really here because you support him? Or are you just a subscriber who follows his ass to just leave a negative comment? Okay. It's really interesting how that works. It's like this man cannot have an opinion. He cannot state something without people wanting to turn it into a whole lot of shit that it's not. Okay. But for the people who listened to that live, to that story that he had shared months back, he said that for a reason. There was a strong message behind that. And that's always stayed in my mind like, man, who fucked him over? Who fucked him over? And if you also pay attention to Ryan, he always gives advance notice. Just like the other day when he had the post up saying, if you think that, he was over the whole current situation and said that there was, somebody else that was, in his opinion, doing something worse. Okay. What he's doing, you guys, he has been preaching like crazy and trying so hard for years to make country rap what it is today. So when he observes and he sees people who are giving it a bad name or doing salty shit, he does not hesitate. Okay. He doesn't hesitate. And I left a comment on that. And I said basically, like, hey, this man has a heart of gold, but, you know, then he can quickly be a pit bull. Wouldn't want to be bitten by him. Um, and that's the honest God truth. I think that man would help and support anybody. But if you guys also pay attention, he has stated a lot of the times, like when he does those Q&A things, when people ask him like, hey, will you do a song with so-and-so? Are you going to work with this person, that person? He's very selective. Okay. Very, very selective because he cares about his image. He cares about his name because that's who all you guys support. All right. And people don't get that stuff. I think people just sit there and they're like, oh, here's Ryan Upchurch, love his music, blah, 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 blah. But they don't actually listen to him. Okay. They listen to his music, but they're not listening to things that he's saying. And it's crazy. It's crazy to me because I sit there and I've seen this from people who are like die-hard supporters. And I stop and I think to myself, I'm like, wow. I'm like, you're a die-hard supporter. You claim to be, dog, bro, whatever, but you're not seeing the bigger picture. And then you got some true crime bitch like me who's not into music, who can sit back and listen to this man and put things together and see a whole picture. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. So when I say that, you know, I don't think that those comments probably get to him. I think he probably brushes them off and stuff. But at the same time, I think that that man has to get frustrated from time to time because he could probably tell the world a whole lot of shit. But he's smart, you guys. He's very smart. He's and this is where I say that our minds think a lot alike because I'm the same way about things. A lot of people, they have to blurt things out, they have to tell everything, but then there's smart people who you always keep the shit in your back pocket. You always say something for a rainy day. And you sit back, you think, you watch, listen, and observe. So when I hear, you know, people in other directions who try to tear down people like that or try to paint a picture or portray them to be something that they are not in a negative mannerism, it pisses me off, you know. I know my little voice is, not anything in the big pond. However, you know what? We need a lot of voices. We really do. Because to be honest with you guys, I feel strong that, this man's been taken advantage of many times by many people, people who have probably been fake as hell behind the scenes and fake right to his face. So I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious that he does not put up with bullshit. He's not stupid. He doesn't need anybody. Everything that he's done on his own. And people look at him as a threat because, you know, he has no problem calling people out. He don't. He has no problem. And people do not look at that as a bad thing just because you like somebody that he's calling out. You should look at it as a good fucking thing. That's somebody who's not easily able to be walked all over. He cannot be molded into something and not have a voice for himself. And I can tell you right now, if he's not pointed out a lot of things, I would probably still be supporting certain individuals. And, I haven't because I'm smart enough to know, like, hey, there's a reason. There's a reason why certain people are not highlighted, certain people are not in this man's inner circle because he's a pretty fair person. You know, he's not one of these people who, thinks he's all that. Not at all. I mean, he's pretty basic guy. Like, for instance, go back to fucking last year when the poor guy didn't even know how much money and earnings he had when he says to the fucking nation that the only thing that he really spends money on is damn a fucking thing of chew and chocolate milk. I mean, that alone speaks volumes. Okay, so he's not sitting here looking at his bank account every day and trying to think of how to suck so many people in to benefit him. It's always been about his supporters, you guys. And that's what you got to stop and ask yourself. You look around at so many of these other people and you ask, are they like that? Is that how they appear? I don't think so. And I can tell you right now, couple a couple that I heavily supported in the beginning of listening to, this country rap music stuff. And I sat back and I listened to individuals who said, you know, they would always be independent artists. They wouldn't get wrapped up into the limelight and shit. And you quickly see how that shit's just dangled in front of somebody and then they run for it. And then they quickly change. And I think that you know, fans and supporters are a difference. Okay. Fans are going to just keep chasing. They're going to keep chasing who they like. But supporters, they're going to sit back and they're going to question, hey, I like this artist. Why do I like this artist? Is this artist a person who keeps his word? Is this a artist that I can grow with and learn from? You know what I mean? And I can tell you right now that there's a lot of people who question a couple of people and say, wow, you said you would never do that. And look what you're doing, you know? But it's like, what makes me so mad is a lot of these people have no problem with throwing him under the bus, throwing shade, talking shit behind the scenes. But if you guys carefully look, Ryan's not doing that publicly. He's not getting on there for no reason. He's not throwing out the dirt on each individual that he has dirt on. Even though I feel and believe that the dirt that he has on a lot of people is probably a lot of shit. There's probably a lot of people who have said things, who have done things that think that he will never catch wind of it or never learn about it. But guess what? Guess what? He hears everything. So whenever he drops these little hints, you guys, that's just a reminder, in my opinion, for these people out there to all start shitting their pants like, oh my God, does he know I said this? Does he know I said that? Does he know that me and this person talked? Does he know this? That's what I feel. And here's the thing. If people are real and they're genuine friends, that's going to bother them. That's going to bother them. It's going to make them apologetic. It's going to make them have remorse. It's going to make them, feel a certain way. But if people are being distant and standoffish and hiding from the truth, then they're guilty. And he doesn't need people like that. His supporters don't need people like that. So before people go and leave comments and saying, "Oh, you're throwing this person under the bus. You're being this, you're being that." No. He's just like you and I. He can have a fucking opinion. He can have a thought. We're not in his shoes. We don't know what kind of bullshit he's had to deal with. Are you kidding me? Because I can tell you right now. Now, I'm not no fucking celebrity, but I can tell you right now, in the past, when I've had big channels and stuff, and I've been supportive and trusting to other individuals, and I've helped people grow, and I've shared my subs with other channels and stuff. And then when you get burned, or when you see the truth behind how a person really is, you guys, it makes you sick. It makes you sick. Because the first thing you want to do is you want to tell your supporters, like, man, this person's a this and that, this and that. So for him to not come out and to do that all the time, it shows that he does have class. And people don't understand that. But what's so crazy, in my opinion, is how people who study him so hardcore are not smart enough to understand that, you know? Like they see he shares a video and they're just like, "Oh my God, he's throwing him under the bus." No, pay attention to the video. The person in the video threw themselves under the bus. Ryan didn't do that. I don't think Ryan went and opened the person's mouth and forced the person to say the things that they said. You know what I mean? Ryan just shared with us what somebody else put out. It's called an opinion, just like all these other people do. So, anyways, I wanted to share those thoughts with you guys because, honestly, I think that there's more serious stuff like to come. I do. I feel that something that's been brewing within him for quite some time. And I don't think that it has anything to do with him trying to be number one or to look like a dick or anything like that. I think it's to open people's eyes. I think that this is kind of a karma and a payback for people who've done things behind his back. And now you get to kind of watch some of the people squirm, you know, like a bunch of little tadpoles in a pond. They're all going to be squirming like all over the pond, like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. And I can guarantee you guys, this is what my gut tells me. My gut is telling me that after the fact of him just sharing a video that someone else did and acknowledging something, I have a feeling that alone probably stirred up a lot of shit with a lot of people. And I'm sure there's a lot of people uncomfortable today. I really do. I feel that there's a lot of people who are trying to backpedal, maybe trying to sit back and think about, what did I say to that person? Who told that person, this person, that person? How does he know that this person, that person? I'm telling you, there's probably a lot of people out there who are backpedaling and doing that. But for the people who do not think that it is important for him to have such strong opinions and to point things out and to be cautious. Um, think of what he's went through. You know, I think that he's very smart for being so cautious. I do. So before people say in comments on someone else's video who did the video that he just happened to share, you can't say that he's calling out other rappers. He shared a video of somebody else calling out a rapper. And at no point in time can anybody say that he's on his channel blasting people and demanding his supporters to not support somebody. That's the difference. He's smart. He lets people think for themselves. Okay. And his real supporters, you guys, the actual real people who pay attention to both aspects of this man, the brain and the voice, two combos there. He knows those people are smart enough to see he doesn't have to encourage things. He doesn't have to push things because he has smart people who follow him. Then you have the other part of people who they follow him because of what they hear, the music end. They're not paying attention to how his brain functions and how it works. And I'm telling you right now, this is why people back down. I have watched and I have seen this shit. People back down and they fucking go ghost because they know he is a fucking weapon. His brain is sharp as shit. And if somebody can figure something out, it's going to be him. He does not back down. He owes nobody nothing. He doesn't have to be somebody's little bitch. So you better bet your ass. Like if there's behind the scenes shit going on and he catches wind of it, then if I were the person, I'd be like, oh shit, fuck. I wouldn't want to be in that position. But this is why people need to have these conversations, because people get wrapped up. They fail to realize and understand that there are smart people out there who can put things together, who cannot be fooled, who don't need shit from people, you know? This is why I stepped out of a fucking community of true crime. I'm like, I don't need any of these fucking people. No. And that's what I've always told people. Always told people is to be a leader and not to be a follower. And I can tell you guys right now, when Ryan launched that song, talking about being a leader and not a follower and stuff, I mean, he is literally like, I sit there and I think to myself, I'm like, and I know you guys get sick of hearing this, but I've said this a zillion times and I've thought about this a lot, as I strongly believe people cross each other's paths for a reason. And to honestly sit back and to learn and to understand a person and how they think, and when they are so smart, to me, that's priceless. That right there, you don't see very often. You don't. You really don't. You get a lot of people who they're caught up in the here and now. What can they gain? What can they get? It's not about creating a name. And a lot of people don't understand that. And that's what I've said here. My little channels that I have is, how do you want people to remember you? What do you want to be known for? You don't want to be known like everybody else. You stand out for a reason. This is why we have the same people, the same liking, because we have brains. We think, we're smart. We see through people. We see through things. And you know what? People, they're they're scared. They're scared of that within some people. They like to use the term crazy or, let me tell you, if you guys ever hear people say that somebody is crazy, they're usually more than likely going to be a smart motherfucker. That's what I've learned. But anyways, so much love to all of you guys this morning. I hope everybody is doing well. I wanted to get on and talk about one of our favorite little pit bulls out there, and just prayers, friend. I hope everything is well. And you know what? We need more. We need more people like that. We really do. We don't have quite enough. So, anyways, all of you guys, thank you so much for being here this morning. Hope everybody is safe and doing good. And I'm getting really bad about this, you guys, not highlighting these. Sometimes I forget that I can easily do this, but I get on here and I ramble and I don't pay attention to chat. So again, much thanks to all of you guys, and I hope you guys have a kick-ass day.